Coming up in this episode, sector space goes red. We destroy some self-replicating turrets and deal with some large torpedoes. Hello, I am the Black Knight and welcome to the Let's Play and Review series for Star Trek Online. This is episode 5.
Commander Burgess, Starfleet Intelligence. There's something I'd like you to look into. It could change the course of the war in our favor. We have intel suggesting that the Klingons are operating a secret weapons facility in the Hiromi cluster. We also believe the base is under the command of Ambassador Bavat, a controversial figure in Klingon politics. I'd like you to get to the truth of the matter, and soon. To that end, I'm sending one of my top agents to join you on the mission. I think you'll find Lieutenant Van Zyl to be a very capable officer. Don't hesitate to seek her counsel in the field. Proceed to the Briar Patch and find out what the Klingons are up to. If there are any weapons there, you are to deactivate or destroy them. And should you encounter the Ambassador, do bring him in. I'd like a word.
Okay, so we have our next mission, which is Secret Orders. So the options we have are to accept or decline, so I'll go ahead and accept that one.
Admiral Quinn says you're the right officer for this job.
So we have the option of Secret Orders or exit, so again we'll just exit. Now I forgot to spend my skill point as well that we got on the last time round, so I shall quickly have a look at that. Now we could increase our torpedoes with the first one, or more energy weapons training for our phasers, or capacity for shields, which will give us more shields, restoration of shields, which will increase how quickly our shields will regenerate, and hull capacity, which again gives us more hull, and the last one is hull restoration, which will increase how fast our hull will regenerate. So I think I'm going to go for the energy weapon training, just so we can get a little bit extra damage on our phaser beam weapons. Okay, so now that we've spent our skill point, we do need to find the Briar Patch, which is from the Star Trek Insurrection film. So it's actually not that far away, just over the ways here, so it shouldn't take us very long to get there. But you can see a bit of a cloud in front of us, which is the Briar Patch. Just changing my my power set to weapons. I think we're going to need weapons here. We're going to likely to find some combat and some Klingons, so I've just changed that over. It doesn't actually change how fast you travel whilst you're in sector space, so you don't need to worry about how fast you will go if you change your power settings whilst you are in sector space. Primarily it will be your engine that you have installed on your ship that will affect how fast you do travel in sector space. There are some skill points that you can spend later on as you level up that will also affect that as well. So we're coming onto the Briar Patch, but you can see the sector space has gone sort of red as we've gone into the cloud of the Briar Patch. That's quite a nice touch. I quite like that. Just minimise that down. You can actually see quite nicely there. That's a nice touch. I like that. Okay, so the write-up here says, warning, Starfleet has deemed this area of space to be a level 6 hazard to starship navigation. Hazards include high levels of metaphasic radiation, pockets of metreon gas, supernova fragments, and false vacuum fluctuations. Ship speed is restricted to 1/3 impulse to avoid damage to impulse manifolds. So that looks like we're going to have a bit of an issue here trying to navigate, so that will be interesting. I had the choice to do the Briar Patch patrol, but I'll be covering patrols later on in the series. So for now we have Van Zyl saying, thanks for having me along, Lieutenant. I look forward to solving this little mystery with you and your crew. An option, as do we, Lieutenant. And she continues, right to business. Long-range sensors are picking up several Klingon battle groups. They appear to be placing self-replicating disruptor cannon turrets throughout this region of space. If we don't take out those cannons now, this entire asteroid belt will be bristling with Klingon defences. Our option is, thank you for the suggestion. Anything else? when I think of self-replicating, I think of the mines from the Deep Space Nine episode. But anyway, she continues, well, the composition of the nebula will make maneuvering at high speed impossible. In addition, the Briar Patch contains pockets of Metron gas. The gas is highly reactive to weapons fire and can be very dangerous. Starfleet recommends we keep at least 4 kilometers away from any of the gas clouds. This should keep us safely out of range if one of them happens to ignite. So we've got keep a distance of 4 kilometers. Got it. And she goes on to say, however, the gas also could be used as a weapon. Do you remember the Riker maneuver? If we detonate the pockets of gas when the Klingons are close to them, they'll do a lot of our work for us. I'll continue again. And she's back again, says, Lieutenant, as you are aware, the Metron clouds in this system require us to maintain a low impost speed or risk damage to the ship. Our option is you sound like you have an idea. I do. It's a little on the radical side. Let's hear it. So let's see what she has to say. Okay, so she goes on to say, I think if we modify the Bussard collectors to filter out only a percentage of the Metron particles, then we could use excess energy to go to full impulse without risk to the ship. I'm not exactly sure what that percentage might be though. So there is a option here for science, but because we're not the science profession, we can't select that one, so we only have the top one here, which is too risky. We'll adhere to the Starfleet guidelines on speed for this mission. So we'll have to come back with our science officer, Iota. It's quite a nice little benefit to having a science profession, to have missions where you can go faster. It's obviously going to take us longer to do this mission if we can't fly as quickly. But yeah, you can't go full impulse here at all. So yeah, it's going to take us a little bit longer to travel. So yeah, let's go and see if we can find some of these turrets. I am actually going to change my power back to engines again now, because that will affect our speed here. We'll just be a little bit quicker getting where we need to go. I've actually gone right straight away from coming in to this mission as to not going to the asteroid field and to the Metron gas. I think if you're a new player, you may have just gone straight ahead, and that could have caused you problems straight away. Getting a bit too close to the Metron gas is really going to hurt your ship. You've not got a lot of hit points, particularly at this level, but you can see that the turret has actually got arrows on it, so it is a little bit easier to find. So let's blow it up and make sure that it's not replicating anymore. So that's the first turret gone, 2, and we did get a nice accolade there as well for doing phaser damage. It looks like 100,000 phaser damage, so that's quite nice. And the second turret, if you look on the mini-map, is just up ahead, up this way. In fact, you can just about see the arrows poking out from behind the asteroid there. So I'm just going to head over to there, get that one done. Oh, there is a bird of prey coming here, so I'm just going to switch back to weapons and take these out. Another accolade for torpedo damage this time. So power back to engines just to get a little bit of extra speed. It's actually not that far away, 11 kilometers. We could use our evasive maneuvers to get there a little bit quicker, but we're already there now within range, so I'm just going to change back and take this one out. The auto flyers caught the Metron gas there, so that's what will happen if you do catch that. If you're within 4 kilometers, it will do considerable damage to you. So it's Benzil again. She says sensors are picking up energy signatures in the large asteroid. Looks like defense turrets guarding a facility on the asteroid surface. Judging by the layout I'm reading here, there's a KDF military research station built into the asteroid. I think it's worth investigating. Our Klingon friends are up to some mischief in that base, I'll wager. And the option is to continue. There is a hydrogen gas there that we could collect, but considering how slowly we go, it's, yeah, I think I'm going to leave that one. Again, just changing the power settings to engines again, just to get us there a little bit quicker. I think with the science it is going to be a lot easier. If you can use your fill impulse, you'll be able to zoom past this part. So there's a little pop-up on the left here from Flores, it looks like. It says, looks like the intel we got pans out. Klingons are definitely hiding something here. This asteroid here does look a lot like the same asteroid from the SS Azura mission, where you could fly through to get the accolade. So some smart use of the assets there. And in fact this whole area does look pretty good. It does look nice to look at. I think if you could get some ships close by and use that Metreon gas to blow them up, I think that would be quite satisfying. It's not as straightforward as it would first appear, but yeah, it would be fun, I think, definitely. These turrets here don't seem to have any shielding, so with some torpedoes on them, it's going to do maximum damage there. Just sounds brilliant. They really are spot on. Looks like one more turret to go. Oh yeah, just see the health melt away. Torpedo hits there. Saul Vensil says, excellent, the defences have been neutralised. We should be able to proceed. With your permission, I'll join the away team. I believe they're standing by, awaiting your orders. So we can beam to the station, we'll continue, so we'll beam to the station. Again, we've still got the same bridge officers we had, we haven't got any new ones yet, so we'll still be taking those ones with us. The Riker manoeuvre was actually mentioned at the beginning of this story section. It would have been nice if we would have been able to do that, but so far not been able to. Okay, so Svenzil again saying, heads up, I'm reading several Klingons in the area, but my tricorder is also picking up 2 additional life signs ahead. Hostages, perhaps. Continue. Just looking around here. Looks like we just go through the doors. Nice Klingon displays around here. They've obviously made themselves at home. The option we have is to breach the door. So I'm just going to do that one. That explosion there taking out the door, it completely left us undamaged and unscathed, being point blank range. I do like the little displays on the boxes there, that's quite cool. Let's go and find some Klingons. So that's another accolade there for phaser damage that we've done with our captain. So we're getting them thick and fast at the moment. And again, we're putting another breach on the door. So it looks like the Klingons are talking to the scientists here. Okay, so they've left us a couple of pieces of loot, and we have the Dr. Carver here.
I'd be happy to tell you what I know, but ask fast. I'm going to the shuttle bay and getting out of here.
The first option is how did you get here?
I'm an independent researcher. Word got out that an interested party was paying a lot of latinum for simple projects. It sounded like a good deal. Then I got here, found out the Klingons were my new employers, and the good deal was work or die. I should have known better.
Continue.
There used to be about 20 of us working on various projects. As people completed their work, they would disappear. I heard one of the Klingons say that my time was up. You got here just in time.
Our only option is back here. The next option, what do you know about Ambassador Bavat?
Bavat is the one running this whole operation. I overheard him say he's keeping the Klingon Empire strong by prolonging the war with the Federation. He thinks that unless the Klingons have an enemy on which to focus their energies, they'll fight amongst themselves and tear the Empire apart. I kind of hope he's right.
Do you know his whole plan?
He hasn't let much information slip, but I know that he found some sort of device abandoned in deep space. He wants to use it in an attack so horrible, the people of the Federation will demand that Starfleet take revenge. The fighting will continue for years.
And the only option is back again. Now the next option, what are you going to do now?
I'm heading for the hangar, finding the first ship that will fly and getting out of here. I'm done working for Klingons. Some of them are honorable, but Bavat cannot be trusted. His desire for war with the Federation has blinded him.
Okay, and what we can do is go back again. And the next option, what do you know about the weapons here?
The Klingons are planning something big. They have been forcing us to design weapons. They want improved disruptors and torpedoes for their ships, but some of their demands have been very specific.
An option specific, how so?
They want a weapon that can punch through solid neutronium, which is impossible. And they keep talking about torpedoes, with payloads big enough to destroy a small planet.
And our option is, were any of you successful in designing these weapons?
There are prototypes of some of the new weapons in the laboratory here, as well as schematics on the base computers. If I were you, I'd destroy the prototypes and the schematics. Neither side needs that kind of destructive power.
Okay, so our option is to continue again. Okay, so that's one of the two researchers found, so we just need to go and find the other one. He's just over here. So we can get to talk to Dr. Everly.
Thank you. These Klingons have had me designing weapons for them at Disruptor Point. The scientists who finished their research are taken away. We are the only two left.
Continue. Sir Van Ziel again, saying both scientists are safe, thankfully. I suggest we locate those weapons now. We can set up explosive charges and remotely detonate them when we return to the ship. Our option is good idea, let's find those weapons. The researcher here seems to be muttering to themselves. They're still working on something, it seems. Like the other one who's wandered off. So we're going to open this crate. I imagine it's going to be more consumables, which it is. So we'll grab this gas as well once we're here, and then we have a look and see if we can find these experimental weapons. I thought the researcher would have gone back with the other one who went, but nope, they're still there. So we'll leave them to it and we'll breach the door. The photon grenades really do make short work of most enemies, particularly here. Again, with my bridge officers having the skill as well, just completely annihilating these guys. And this Klingon likes Earl Grey tea, apparently. And another box of loot here. You see there, Klingon Raktajino, that's a bit more appropriate drop than Earl Grey tea, I think. Again, we're breaching the door here. I suppose it's not actually telling us how we're doing it. It doesn't look like we're setting a bomb or anything. The door still goes boom somehow. Klingons also like Adanian spice pudding, it seems. You can see one of the torpedoes in the background there, which is just lighting up, being guarded by this Klingon group. We're going to take out this Targ handler first, so that he doesn't spawn any more Targs. Okay, a nice new shield there. Speaking of new, actually we've got our new weapon which we haven't used yet, so pressing Z you can just, or Z, depending on your preference, you can change your weapon between the two that you have on your character at that time. So you can see here we've got the rifle in one and the disruptor pistol in the other. So just press Z to be able to switch between those two. So we'll use that one for a little bit and see how we get on with that. So for now we're going to plant a spatial charge on this torpedo. And see if we can find the other three that we need to get. So you can see this one on the right isn't guarded, so we'll quickly nip over to here. If the Klingons will let us, and whack a charge on that one as well. So you can see the difference in the weapon types there, with the pistol just having like a single shot, but it does have the exploit as well for skill 2. So if we find one of the enemies that's been exposed, we can use that skill to do some extra damage. Also have a crate here as well. So lots of loot in this one to get, all consumables, so all energy credits for us later. So let's do this torpedo as well, so just one more to go. So it looks like it's just one more group of Klingons left here in the room, so we'll just take these out. I recommend taking the Sword Masters out first, because if they get to you, they can be a real pain. You can see that Klingon was just vaporized there with our exposed attack. So the exposed attacks do quite a bit more damage if your enemies have been exposed, and you do get that cool graphic where they disintegrate. So more crafting materials for us for later. Okay, so Sarah Van Zyl again saying there's a computer core nearby. Let's see if we can upload its contents to your ship's computer. The data we find may give us insight into how the Klingons were planning to use these weapons. We may even find hints of Bivat's ultimate plan. And we can continue. So we're just doing what Van Zyl said and downloading the data here. That sounded like transporters. So yeah, there we are. Klingons beamed in. Does make you wonder if they can beam into here, why didn't we? I suppose this mission would be kind of short if that was to happen. And another accolade for finishing the mission. That's nice. So Flora says here we have the data. Preliminary analysis indicates, hold on, something's happening. Sensors are picking up Klingon vessels leaving the facility. We could really use you back on the bridge. Although She looks like she's in a chair there, but she's with us on the landing party, so she shouldn't be on the ship. She's down here. That's a bit of a puzzle, but okay. The options are return to the ship or not now, so we'll return to the ship.
Face to face at last with one of the Federation's greatest officers. I've read much about you, though I'm not as impressed as our intelligence agents are. After all, you were rather easily led to this system by a few well-placed pieces of bait. I've had pet dogs with more sense.
Friendly fella, let's continue.
I have everything I need from the research station, but I must say, humiliating a Federation war criminal is, as the humans say, an added bonus. Try to stop us if you must. However, I won't think poorly of you if you walk back to Earth with your tail between your legs, there to whimper at your master's feet.
Oh, okay, and continue.
You have lost this day. Victory is mine, and mine alone. Kapla!
I think the dialogue needs a little bit of improvement. The option is tactical, what's the situation? So it's Venzil again saying, never mind Bavat, Lieutenant, we have more immediate concerns. I'm reading several Klingon ships on sensors. Looks like they're attempting to escape the system. Looks like they're trying to use the asteroid belt to mask their warp core signatures. If we hurry, we should be able to intercept them. And our option is just to continue. Alright, let's see if we can catch up with these Klingon vessels. So I'll get power to our engines and then see if we can find them. We're going to try and catch up with that Katinda ahead of us, but there is a raptor now just engaging us, so I'm not going to change my power settings. I'm just going to try and catch up with that Katinda, see if we can take out this Klingon with what power settings we have. Thankfully our torpedoes do make light work of unshielded ships. I'm not going to grab the gas here because that will slow us to a stop, so I'm just going to head straight for the container. Okay, with that one there we can now grab the gas. Okay, so it looks like we've completed all the other objectives, so it's just left to remotely detonate the torpedoes. Picked up another accolade there as well, very nice. It's Venzil saying, excellent work Lieutenant, Vat won't be getting his hands on those experimental weapons, and we recovered a lot of actionable intel from that base. I've transmitted the data we've pulled from their computer core to Starfleet intelligence. Here's hoping it gives us the edge we need to bring an end to this conflict once and for all. And our options are to depart or not now. So we'll depart the system and see about turning this mission in.
I've read the after-action report filed by Lieutenant Van Zyl. Pity we weren't able to apprehend Bavat, but I'm glad we shot that weapons facility down. Nicely done. As for that weapons research the Klingons were conducting, Starfleet has some of our best people analyzing the data you recovered. We'll find out what Bavat and his people were doing there soon enough. There's a lot more intel to analyze, and I suspect we'll be working again soon. Klingons don't tend to think small, and we'll need the best we can get to deal with Bavatians.
Machinations is the word which for some reason wasn't voiced. But, yeah, there we go. That's the end of that mission. We do get to choose one of these three. So we have one for damage resistance. We have one which increases starship exotic particle generators and a beam weapon damage. Currently, all of our consoles are full. But looking what we've got here, we've got one for phaser relays, which gives us 3.9. This one gives us 5. So that one's probably going to be our best bet to go for now at least. I don't think we're really going to use our particle generators much. Although the petroleum alloy, or neutronium, sorry, is pretty good. I think we're going to be better off with the beam weapons. So we'll collect
Admiral
that.
Quinn, you're the right officer for this job.
Okay, so there is another accolade that we've just picked up, so that's good. We're just going to quickly do the items that we've picked up for our ship and for our bridge officers. So I'm just going to quickly go through those ones here. So the next mission will probably pop up for us in a second, so I'll just close that one if it does, and then we can actually do the items that we need to. And there it is. So, spoilers for next episode there. So let's have a look at what we have. So this tactical directed energy distribution manifold is actually slightly better than the console we're using now, so we'll use that. I don't think there's really anything else we can put on our ship, or maybe a few things for our bridge officers. Just sort again, that will help us a little bit. So this shield is better than the one that Flores is using, so we can swap that one over. I don't think there's anything else that we can really use. This body armour is both Mark II, in fact that was exactly the same, and the other ones were probably not as good. It's a different type of armour, but it's a lower mark, so we'll stick with the one that we've got here. Flores could use that one. Again, it's a Mark II rather than a Mark I. So I think we will give that one to her. And yes, okay, because it's fine if it binds. Again, we're not looking to sell these on the auction house. Coles. Let's give him this one. The hardening. Travell hasn't got any body armour at all, so we'll give her the Mark I. And Zava has exactly the same body armour as what we have in our inventory, so there's no upgrade there. So that's pretty much all we can really do with our bridge officers at the moment. There's no new weapons for us to use, and it's just consumables, so we will look at selling those at a later date. Nothing else that we can really add to our ship, so it's fine. Well, let's quickly spend our skill point as well before we forget. I will put that one in the energy weapon training as well, so our phasers are a little bit more effective. Now going to move on to the good, the bad and the improvements. So I did like when we were approaching the Briar Patch in sector space. The sector space actually changed. It's just a small little graphic, but it does help with the immersion. So yeah, that's a nice touch. I did like the profession specific options. It was nice to see that science characters would have been able to go to full impulse. So yeah, that's it gives another reason to be able to be a different profession. So yeah, it's good. I like that. We had a decent amount of accolades given to us throughout the mission. It was nice that we could use the Metreon gas. We could use that as a weapon, but it was also dangerous to ourselves as well if we were too close when it was destroyed. I don't think it was used as well as it could have been, but it was nice that we could use it. And finally, it was also nice to visit another iconic location, one that we've seen in the movie Star Trek Insurrection. Moving on to the bad now. It was actually mentioned about the Riker maneuver. Unfortunately, we weren't actually able to do that, so that was a little bit disappointing. The mission text actually stated that the turrets that we had to destroy were self-replicating, but they didn't replicate. I think if we had taken our time and really stretched it out, they wouldn't have actually made any more. I think it would have been a bit more impactful if they did actually make some extra turrets and the mission became a little bit harder as time progressed. You know, it wouldn't have to be a case of they would spawn all over the system. Just having an extra 3 or 4, for instance, would just make it that little bit harder if you're slower doing the mission. The lack of voiceover for Van Zyl was also something that I didn't particularly like very much. I started getting used to the fact of the main characters at least having a voiceover, so it was a bit unusual to get to this point and have one of the main characters who are with you not be voiced. So it would have been definitely nice if she was. We have had door breaching in the tutorial, where it was a case of we've just pulled out our phaser and then just phasered the door to be able to open it. Whereas here it's almost like we planted an explosive in order to blow the door open, but you don't get to see the explosive and you're literally right on top of it when it goes off. So the door disappears and you take no damage at all. Yeah, it just doesn't sit right with me. I think I definitely would have preferred it to have been done the same way as it was in the tutorial. At the end of the ground segment, we're actually hailed by the ship by Flores, who's sat down, appears to be on the ship, but we actually have her in our landing party. So it's a case of, well, where is she? She's in 2 places at once. So a little bit odd. I thought Bavat's dialogue was very much out of character for a Klingon. He was using a lot of human sayings and just generally stating a lot of things which I don't think a Klingon would do. It seemed very, very much out of character. I don't think it was ever mentioned how big the Briar Patch actually is, but we didn't get to see the sonar or the Baku, so yeah, that was something that we could have also visited, but obviously didn't. However, overall I did really enjoy the mission. So let's move on to the improvements now. So just to cover the points I made already about the self-replicating turrets, it'd be nice to have, say, like a timer somewhere on the screen so that the turrets do actually self-replicate, and would give a little bit of urgency to the mission. So the fact that you can't go at full impulse to be able to get to the turrets could mean that they're going to spawn, and it's going to make the mission a little bit more harder. It's going to have a little bit more urgency about it. Adding in some voiceover for Van Zyl would be nice, and replacing the pop-up for Flores, and even if it was just with a generic red shirt, just to keep the continuity going, because you can't really have a character on your landing party and be on the ship at the same time. The last part of Bavat's dialogue I think really needs to be updated just to make him appear a bit more Klingon, because right now he does seem very much out of character. It would have been nice if we had some options for tactical and engineering as well, rather than just the one for the science. There may be some missions later down the road which just have tactical or engineering optionals as well, but yeah, it would have been nice if we had some other ones as well other than science to use. You could also add a reward for those who are playing intelligently, where they are making the most of their power settings. They're transferring from engines to weapons and vice versa to be able to do the mission as quickly as possible. So maybe just adding an accolade or something similar to that to be able to finish the mission with a certain time frame. So you're actually then rewarding people who are, like I say, playing intelligently. We didn't get very many opportunities to be able to use the Metron gas to be able to destroy any of the ships. Would have liked a bit more opportunity to be able to use it. I think it would have been a lot more fun. But I'd love to hear what you think, so feel free to leave a message in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next episode.